Hello, mathematicians. We are starting our next math lesson today, and we have jumped ahead to lesson 11 today. So for your materials today, as always, you will need your pink problem set, which at the top says lesson 11 problem set. You will need a pencil, as always, for math, and you will need a highlighter. Because if we look at our problem set today, we have some word problems, so we're definitely going to want to be highlighting our clue words, okay? So if we look at our lesson objective and our I can statement for today, our objective says I can solve, or we'll look down there. We'll look up here first. So solve mixed word problems involving all four operations. So I want to stop right there. So involving all four operations. So that means that we have to decide if we are adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing. So that means that's why we have these highlighters, right? Because we need to look at them and decide based on our clue words and based on what the questions are asking us, what are we going to do with that information? Are we going to add, subtract, multiply, or divide? So we have to be very good math detectives here to figure out what we're going to do, okay? Moving on, so we're going to be solving mixed word problems involving all four operations with grams and kilograms. So we dealt with grams and kilograms yesterday, or our last class together. If we remember, a gram is about the weight of a paper clip. I've got two of these stuck together here. There we go. A gram is about the weight of a paper clip, and a kilogram is about, and I drank some of this water, but a kilogram, if I had a full water bottle, would be about the weight of a full water bottle. So a full water bottle is definitely much heavier than a paper clip. And remember, do you remember how many grams it takes to equal a kilogram? 1,000, right? So it would take 1,000 grams to equal a kilogram. So that's a little bit of a review from yesterday, but we're going to be talking about those units today as well. But we're also going to be adding in liters and milliliters. So a liter, if you think of what are some things that come in liters, maybe like at your house, maybe you get like a 2 liter of soda. About 2 of these water bottles would equal a liter if they were filled, right? So 2 of these would equal a liter. And if you think of a 2 liter of soda, which is like maybe we would recognize that as a 2 liter, a liter would be half of that. A lot of times if you buy like a liter of soda at the store, it comes like a taller, skinny bottle. But if we think of it in size of water bottles, it would be about 2 of these. Or if you have like a big water bottle that you, like one that you would wash and that you bring to school every day, that would probably be about a liter as well. A milliliter would be like a drop if you have a liquid dropper, or maybe if we have a baby brother or sister that needs like drops. They get their medication in like with a little dropper, or eye drops, or anything that you would like give in drops. That would be a milliliter. Okay. And if we think of milliliters and liters in terms of our grams and kilograms, 1 milliliter, and here's our abbreviation, ml, so with a lowercase m and a capital L, 1 milliliter equals, nope, sorry, I'm doing that wrong. 1 liter, a capital L equals liter, 1 liter equals 1,000 milliliters. Okay, so remember yesterday, and we just mentioned it again today, that it would take 1,000 paper clips, 1,000 grams to equal a kilogram. The same thing. So it would take 1,000 milliliters, so 1,000 drops, to equal a liter. Okay, so we're going to talk about that a little bit more. I can solve word problems with all four operations with grams, kilograms, liters, and milliliters. So similar to what we talked about with our objective. Before we start with our problem set for today, you don't have this. I just want you to follow along with me just to kind of get a better feel for liters and milliliters. So if we have, this is like a big thing of laundry detergent. Do you recognize this? Maybe at your house for mom or dad or whoever does the laundry at your house. So this is a pretty big jug, right? It's a good sized jug that has our laundry detergent in it. Would we use milliliters, which would be drops, or would this be measured in liters? So if we're thinking of this big thing of laundry detergent and it's pretty heavy, right? Would we use liters, milliliters, which is drops, or would we measure that in liters? It would be liters, right? Because there's quite a bit of it. So I would use liters to measure the liquid in a jug of laundry detergent. Okay, good. How about a can of soup? Would we use milliliters or would we use liters if we wanted to measure like a can of soup? Can of soup is probably like that big, right? And remember, we said a liter would be like 2 full water bottles or a big water bottle or half of one of those 2-liter jugs of soda. So we would measure this in probably milliliters, right? I'm going to do the abbreviation for that, which would be M, capital L. Okay. How about these are like eye drops right there. These are Visine eye drops. It says on the cover there. Would we use milliliters, drops, or would we use liters to measure eye drops? That one would definitely be milliliters, right? Because those are little drops. And the last one, so this is what I was talking about, but I know a lot of you would recognize. This is a 2-liter of soda. So we hear it right in the name. Milliliters or liters to measure a 2-liter of soda. Liters for sure. And the abbreviation for L, the symbol for L is, or for liters is a capital L. Okay. So that's what we would use. So liters for a 2-liter of soda, liters for a big thing of laundry detergent. What if you wanted to fill up a bathtub? That would be liters, right? All of those would be liters if we're filling up a large amount. If we were filling up our sink, it would be liters. If we were measuring out or we wanted to put a little bit of water in a teacup or something small, anything small amount of liquid would be in milliliters. Okay, good. I want to jump right into our problem set for today since we're working on word problems, and we said we know that whenever it's a word problem, we're going to have RDWW, so put your name and date on there, though, if you didn't already do that. Okay. All right, when you're ready, put your finger or your pencil on the total weight, and already I see a clue word there. Do you? Yes, so we want those highlighters ready for sure in this lesson. And if you don't have a highlighter at home or wherever you are doing your math lesson today, then just get like a colored pencil or something so that you can really pick out those clue words, okay? Because the clue words definitely help us when we're working on word problems. Okay, so the total weight in grams of a can of tomatoes and a jar of baby food is shown to the right. And I saw a clue word. What do you think of this word right here? Total. Actually, I'm going to do the whole thing. Total weight. Okay. And it's shown to the right. So here's that total right there. It's 671. Maybe I'll even highlight that so we can see it over there. A lot of times if we put an amount like not right in the problem, we don't see it. So 671 is the total weight for the tomatoes in a jar of baby food. Okay. And then it says the jar of baby food weighs 113 grams. That's important, right? The jar of baby food weighs 113 grams. How much does the can of tomatoes weigh? All right, so if I look here, we did the read, right? So I can check that off. All right, before I even get to the draw, I want to look here. So I know the total is 671. The jar of baby food weighs 113, and we want to know how much the can of tomato weighs. So I'm going to put 113 grams on top of that. And then I'm ready to do my draw, I think. So I'm going to do a tape diagram. How many objects do I have for my tape diagram? I have 2. And are they equal in size? The baby food is a lot smaller. So I'm going to make one of my groups smaller than the other. And if you don't do that, that's not okay. It is okay, sorry. If you don't do that, that is okay, but it just helps to kind of get into your head that one is obviously smaller than the other one, right? So do we know the total? Yes, the total is 671. 671 grams. Okay. And I know that the baby food weighs 113 grams. Okay, so here's the baby food. I'm going to put a B for baby food and a T for tomatoes. And I want to know how much does the can of tomatoes weigh? So I know the total and I know the weight of the baby food. So what would I do with these two numbers to find the weight of the tomatoes? I'm going to subtract, right? So anything, if I know the total, we know that we would divide if we know the total and we have equal groups. But do we have equal groups? No, we don't have equal groups, but we do know the total, which means that we're now going to subtract, okay? So I'm going to do 671, and we don't have a lot of room here, so we kind of have to write a little smaller to fit it in. 671 minus 113, okay? 1 minus 3, we can't do it, right? So I'm going to cross out the 7 and make it a 6, and the 1 becomes an 11. So remember, I put my 1 right in front, but if you wanted to cross out that 1 and write 11 up top, you could. Okay? And then we have 11 minus 3. What is that? It is 8. Good job. And that leaves us with 6 minus 1, which is 5. And 6 minus 1 again, which is 5. So that means that the can of tomatoes weighs 558 grams. Okay, so there's that, and then it's 558 grams, and I can put grams inside of there like that. Okay, I can check off my draw. I wrote some number sentences, but there's a part B, and I'm actually not going to worry about putting a sentence in for part A because 1, we don't have a lot of room there, and 2, there's a part B to it anyway. So let's see what part B says. Part B says, how much more does the can of tomatoes weigh than the jar of baby food? So how much more, that's the clue word, right? How much more does the can of tomatoes weigh than the jar of baby food? So how much more is a clue word that tells us to subtract. You got it. So if we're going to subtract the tomatoes and the baby food, which one goes on top? The bigger number, which is the 558. So you've got 558 minus, and under that's going to be 113. Good. All right, so we always start, we've got ones, tens, and hundreds, and we're always going to start with the ones, right? So 8 minus 3 equals 5, you got it. 5 minus 1 equals 4, and 5 minus 1 again equals 4. So it would be 445, what's our unit of measure? Still grams. Good. All right, so there's our number sentence for that one. And now we could probably get a sentence in, right? Because we can, we've got some room. So how much more does the can of tomatoes weigh? So let's say it weighs 445 grams, and we'll put that G for grams more. Period. Okay, so remember when we write a complete sentence, we always have to make sure that it begins with a capital letter. And then, of course, if it's going to be a complete sentence, that means it needs a period at the very end. Okay? Alrighty. Okay, let's move right into number 2. Okay, so put your finger on number 2. This would, of course, be RDWW. Okay, and here we go. The weight of a pen in grams is shown to the right. So here's our pen, and the pen equals 6 grams. So I'm going to highlight that again just so I don't forget that information is over there. Okay, and then the question says, what is the total weight of 10 pens? Well, one, it's important. There's 10 pens, and I also have a clue word there, which is total. Total tells me it's a clue word that I'm either going to multiply or divide. So if I have equal groups, I can multiply. If they're not equal groups, then I would add. So let's see what we've got here. Okay, total weight of 10 pens, and how much does each pen weigh? 6, that's right there, right? So do I have equal groups? I do. So that means if I have equal groups, and I want to find the total, that means that I can multiply, right? I'm going to put a multiplication sign right on top of the total there. So there's my read. Next, I want to draw. Okay, so I'm going to do a tape diagram, I think, for this one. course, as always, if you wanted to go ahead and try it and then come back to me, you can sure do that. Okay, so there's my rectangle, and I have 10 pens. So if I have 10 pens, how many groups do I want? 10. So how many lines? 9. Good. So let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good, because we should always go back after and count to check. Okay. Do I know how much goes in each one of those? It would be 6, right? Because each pen weighs 6. So here's the deal. I could put like 6 dots in each one. I'm going to write the number 6 in each one, and I'm going to tell you why I think that it would still be okay, even if we haven't practiced multiplying by 6 yet. Because what kind of a number sentence are we going to write? Multiplication, right? And how many groups do we have? 10 groups. We said we're going to multiply, so 10 times what? 10 times 6, because there's 6 in each one. So even if we're not good at multiplying by 6 yet, we can certainly count by 10, right? So let's do that together. We're going to count by 10s how many times? 6 times. Ready? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So that equals 60 when we count by 10 6 times. 60 what? 60 grams. Good. Okay. But let's move on. There's a part B. So it says an empty box weighs 82 grams. What is the total weight of a box of 10 pens? So let's think about what that is saying. So if we have a box of 10 pens, we know that the weight of the 10 pens is going to be 60 grams. That's just the pens. But if I have a box with 10 pens, and then let's say that that's this right here, okay? So let's say that this is a box with 10 pens. We'll pretend that they're not pencils, and we'll pretend that there's 10 pens in there, okay? And that this is a box, not a plastic container, okay? Now, if I dumped all of those 10 pens out, oh my goodness. There's a lot of pens here. Pencils that I've got to pick up later. Almost done. They were not coming out. Okay. So if I know that the pens weigh 60 grams, and then I just have the box here. This is my empty box. And we're going to pretend that this empty box here weighs 82 grams. Okay. I want to know what is the total weight of a box of 10 pens. Okay. So if my 10 pens weigh 60 grams and the empty box weighs 82 grams, what is the total weight of a box of 10 pens? Do we have a clue word there? Total, right? Total is a clue word. That means that we're either going to multiply or add if we're trying to find the total, right? If we have a box that's 82 and then a bunch of pens that weigh 60, do we have equal groups? So we're not going to multiply. So that means that we're going to do what? We're going to add, right? So that means I'm going to add the weight of the box, which is 82, plus the weight of all those pens, which is 60. Okay? And let's go ahead and add. So I start with the ones column. 2 plus 0 is 2. 8 plus 6 is 14. So that would be 142. What's my unit, my label there? 142 grams. Good. Let's see. I can check off my draw. I can check off my write. I wrote 2 number sentences. I just need to write my sentence. What is the total weight of a box of 10 pens? So write with me. The total weight. The total weight is 142 grams. There we go. What do we think? So it seems like a lot, but if we break it apart, it's not too bad, right? We're going to cross off number 3. Okay, just because we have some on the back that I want to get to too. So go ahead and flip it over. All right. And let's go right to number 4. And I think that you could definitely maybe even try this one on your own if you haven't been working on your own yet. So try it on your own and then come back to me, okay? So I want you to do the read, draw, write. So if you haven't been trying anything on your own yet, go ahead and pause the video and give this a shot and then check back with me after, okay, when you're finished. Okay, so I'm going to go over it. So I hope that you try it on your own and you're back with me. A frozen turkey weighs about 5 kilograms. That's important. So it weighs about 5 kilograms. The chef orders 45 kilograms of turkey. That sounds like it's the total to me. Did you circle that for the total? Use a tape diagram to find about how many frozen turkeys he orders. Okay. Check off my read. Now I'm going to draw, and it's telling me to use a tape diagram. Okay, there's my tape diagram. And we said that he ordered 45 kilograms of turkey, so that would be my total. So I'm going to scoop it, and I'm going to put 45. Okay. And a frozen turkey weighs about 5 kilograms. That means each turkey weighs 5 kilograms. And I want to find about how many frozen turkeys he orders. So I don't know the total, but I do know that each frozen turkey weighs 5. So I could put 5 circles in each one. I could put the number 5 in there if I feel good about counting by 5s, right? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the number 5 in there. And then I'm going to count by 5s until I get to 45, okay? Are you with me? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So I got 9. So that means I would have 9 groups. Okay, so that would mean 8 lines, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm just going to make sure I have 9 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Good. And then I'm going to put 5 in each one. If you put 5 circles in each one, or if you just put 5 in each one and count it up as you went, that's fine too. You could have evened it. Well, first of all, what kind of a number sentence am I going to write? Since I knew the total, and we have equal groups, that means I'm going to divide, right? So it would be 45 divided by, what did we know? We knew the 45 and we knew the 5. So 45 divided by 5, and we found that that equals 9. So you could have actually even have written your number sentence first and found that your answer was 9 and then gone back and filled that in. Okay. All right. So we did the read, the draw, we wrote a number sentence. What's left? The last one is to write a word sentence. So I look at the question, use a tape diagram to find out how many frozen turkeys he orders. So he orders 9 frozen turkeys. There we go. Okay, good. Alrighty. If we look at the next one, and we'll cross off number 6. So number 5 will be our last one. Yay for me. We crossed off 2, right? Okay, good. All right. So number 5 would also be RDWW, right? Because it's a word problem. So RDWW. Okay. A recipe requires 300 milliliters of milk. That sounds like well, let's see. I don't know yet. A recipe requires 300 milliliters of milk. Okay. Sarah decides to triple the recipe for dinner. So if she triples it, what is she doing? If you triple something, you're doing it like 3 times over, right? So it would mean like times 3. Okay. And so we want to know how many milliliters of milk does she need to cook dinner? Okay. So her recipe requires 300 milliliters of milk. She decides to triple it for dinner. So she's going to make like 3 times the amount. So if I'm thinking of, I can check that off. So I'm going to do a tape diagram, I think. If she is tripling it, how many groups would I need in my tape diagram? 3, right? Because if she triples it, she's doing 3 times the amount. So there's the 3 groups. Okay. And each recipe requires 300. So originally I was thinking 300 was the total, but as I kind of read on, I thought, okay, no, because 300 is for one of the recipes, but she's making it like she's basically doing it 3 times. So I'm going to put 300 in each of these. Would I want to put 300 circles in here? No way, Jose, right? 300 in each of those. Okay. And I want to know how many milliliters of milk does she need to cook dinner. So I have 300. Couple different ways that I could do it. I could do 300 because I'm finding the total plus 300 plus 300. We know that when we add or when we're finding the total, we can add or multiply. So 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And then I can add my 3s, so I can count by 3s. 3, 6, 9. 900, what's my label? Milliliters. 900 milliliters. So that's 900 milliliters. You want to also know a trick to solve that one? Maybe even easier. Okay, we have 3 groups. So we're going to do 3 times. How much is in each group? 300. Cool. This is a big multiplication one, right? So if I look here, what I can do, so these are zeros. So I can take that 3 and I'm going to connect it. I'm going to hook it to the other 3. So since there's 300s, I can do 3 times 3, 3, 6, 9. And then I'm just going to go ahead and add in those 2 zeros. Look at that. Pretty cool, right? That also gives me 900 milliliters. So you can practice that trick if you want. So anytime we have a number that's like a multiple of either 10 or 100 or thousands, I can take this first number and I can multiply it by however many tens or hundreds or whatever there are. So I just hook those together, multiply them, and then I just add in the zeros. That's a really fun trick. And we can multiply much bigger numbers if we're doing it that way, right? Okay, let's see what we've done. We did the draw. We wrote our number sentence a couple ways. So what we have left is to write a word sentence. How many milliliters of milk does she need? She needs, with a capital S, she needs 900 milliliters of milk, period. We already crossed off that last one. So that's it. So we definitely did a variety of word problems here, right? We did some division, we multiplied, we added, we subtracted, we added some more. So we definitely used a variety of different strategies to solve different operations. So we had to be really good math detectives to be able to solve that. So definitely when we're working on math, a highlighter is a good friend for us, using that mathematical brain and really paying attention to accuracy and thinking, does it make sense? Okay, so super job as always today, boys and girls. Keep up the great work, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.